You can see we're not used to sitting next to each other with the elbows. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit... That's okay. I'm quite comfortable like that. So normally... Because normally we sit on a chair each, but we've been quite lucky this week, haven't we? Or a week ago, that we managed to pick up a settee, and but now in order to, this room is so small. In order to film, we've had to sit next to each other.
Sit next to each other.
So we're not quite used to that. Here we go.
Get your coffee. And welcome to PiPsCast number 7.
Oh, number 7.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Crazy. Yep. We've been here for almost 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Does it feel like 10 weeks?
In some ways it does, I suppose. In some ways it really doesn't. I don't know. I was trying to think about this. I was trying to think about when I used to work and how quickly 10 weeks went. Because you're like up every morning at 9 o'clock, work days. The days just disappear and then the evenings disappear because you're back at work again. So I'm trying to understand that 10-week situation, and I can't really put it into thoughts. So for me, does it feel like 10 weeks? I don't know.
Yeah. No.
It's strange, isn't it?
I think for me, it's some days have been very, very quick.
Yeah.
And some days have been deliciously long.
Yeah.
So
I am finding that the evenings now, in the last week or two, the evenings are coming on quite quickly. So I know what you mean about the longer days. But I do feel that the evenings are coming in quite quick.
yeah, I suppose what I mean about being deliciously long is that we now don't have any time constraints on us.
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
we don't have any other people constraints on us.
Yeah, kind of.
So the time that we have is all ours to
Yeah.
do with as we please,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
And we are very lucky in that respect.
Yeah.
And we do appreciate it.
Yeah.
But I think for you, what you just touched on with the evenings, because I think when we've had about 4 days of cloud,
Yeah.
not continuous rain, but like drizzle, grey, then a downpour,
Yeah.
nothing bright and cheery. And then the evenings, because the clocks have gone back now and we're into winter, then the daylight is short.
Yeah.
And that does affect you a fair bit, doesn't it?
I think it does. I mean, last night I was tired by 9 o'clock, but I thought I kind of go to bed at 9 o'clock. So I think I managed to stay awake until about 10, but I was pretty much asleep by straight away.
Yeah.
But then this morning it was still 9 o'clock before I felt like I wanted to wake up.
Yes.
And I do feel I have a deep sleep as well.
Yeah.
So it's definitely kind of that kind of change is definitely, I don't know, it's affecting me somehow. I'm not quite sure how. As I said before, it's like when you're working, I suppose you get into a routine. Could it be that possibly? Could it be that I'm not in a routine yet?
Probably, yeah.
And my body hasn't quite caught up with what we're supposed to be doing. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I've just hit on what it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 10 weeks and I'm not sure. No, I don't know what it feels like. And
I think you also said though that the times that we've been to Portugal before, yes, we've been here when it's rained or, but generally when you come here, there are long, warm, sunny days, day after day after day.
Yeah.
So you have this idea in your head
Yeah.
that that's how it is all the time.
Yeah. Even though you know that you're only in holiday mode.
Yes. So now we're coming out of holiday mode and into life mode.
Yeah.
Then
that'll be.
I think that's still been quite a contrast for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, I don't feel I'm in life mode yet, I don't think. I think I'm still kind of in a holiday mode. I don't know, in somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I've slid more into, because for me, I feel as though I am now more in tune with the daylight and the night time, and definitely more with the season, although it is only 10 weeks that we've been here. And we have talked about, like, there's no autumn as we would recognise it in a traditional UK sense. So we touched on that last week, but I think for me, where you sort of go quiet and you like withdraw a bit and it's been too dark for too long or whatever, for me it's more a case of frustration, because I see all of the things that I want to get done outside, and sometimes the weather just puts you off, because there's only so many times in a day that you can actually get wet while you're digging or clearing or whatever it is. So I don't know, it affects us differently.
It does. I definitely think that I do. I'm not going to use the word suffer, because I don't suffer from SAD, or I think it's seasonal affective disorder or seasonal affected disorder. I don't suffer from that, but I do definitely feel it. I mentioned it on a video I think that's coming out in a week or so.
I think it was on here.
Was it on this week? Yeah. I mentioned that the kind of the weather was a bit rainy and it felt a little bit heavy on myself. When I was listening back to that and editing it, I thought, oh yeah, I've actually said that out loud on the video, and then realised that it does kind of affect me in that way, a little bit heavy. And I think because the weather, maybe exactly as you said, I kind of expected it. We've been here in November before. We came for a holiday in November, didn't we?
Yes, we were here for a good chunk of November the last time.
And the weather was absolutely beautiful. So maybe in my mind, even though I knew it's the winter, but maybe in my mind I kind of thought, oh, it's going to be nice and warm and nice and sunny. But no, it was still affected a little bit by by SAD. Yeah, just a little bit maybe. Yeah, but it's cool. It's okay. But just a little bit. I can feel it. I think that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where you just want to get on with stuff.
Yeah, it just frustrates me.
Yeah, like yesterday, it was a perfect example, wasn't it? I just wanted to maybe just kind of just stay in.
Yeah, you just wanted like an in day, so you sat and you did some editing and you did some tidying and washing up and stuff. Yeah. But
I did pop down to the land to see you though, and you were very busy down there. But so I do feel that I want to get out, because I did go out for maybe Max and I went down for about an hour maybe, have a look around. I do love it down there. That's actually a point as well. It's a really lovely place, isn't it? Down.
Completely lifts my spirits.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you can see that, and it is an absolutely lovely place. And I do like to be down there, but sometimes I just feel that maybe, I don't know. As I said, I'm still in that kind of situation where I'm not really sure where I am maybe at what time in the day. But I got a little bit of editing done, which was always a good thing.
Yeah.
So that was that. So feeling okay, but just feeling a little bit of the pressure of the weather, I suppose. So I wanted to tell people about talking about weather. We were talking about the weather. You can tell we're British. Talk about the weather again. Again, that kind of not being affected or not expecting the rain, I think, for me. So our car, truck, that's the one. Yeah, it's a 1986 Nissan King Cab. Nissan Pickup King Cab. I think that's what they call it, yeah. So from 1986, so it really is just genuinely retro. And it's retro inside as well, and it's actually really cool because of that. But because of its age, it has little bits and bobs, doesn't it, that are not quite working as they should. And I thought, that's okay. The windows don't close perfectly, do they?
Yeah.
So if it is a bit of a heavy rain, you're going to get a little bit wet. And but particularly the windscreen wipers, we were driving along and it was the first time we had to use the windscreen wipers, wasn't it, on that car? And they were up stopping and back down again, and then we had to stop the car because what was happening was the fuse kept falling out of the fuse box. I don't know, half an hour journey probably took us a fair bit, but it was in the rain, obviously, because that's the only time
you use your windscreen wipers.
use your windscreen wipers. So we didn't know, we hadn't tested. Well, they obviously worked, but then when it was under the pressure, I think, of the driving and the going over cobbly streets, it had knocked the fuse out, and then I had to push the fuse back in again.
But it had probably been like that for months because it hadn't rained for months and they'd never been used, and then all of a sudden they were like, oh flip, we've got to work and we've got to keep going. What do you mean?
Yeah, so they were like this, and then it was like the fuse falls out and I had to stop the car because obviously it was raining, push the fuse back in again. But anyway, that was just a thing, I suppose, of not being... Well, we wouldn't have known. As you say, yeah. But that was just a quite an interesting little anecdote related to weather. Yeah. So that brings us on to a little bit about driving. And what did you want to say about what you're saying? I know what it is. Yeah. You're going to say, because you say it all the time when we're driving, that I obviously have settled to a certain extent because I now drive like a native. Drive like a native. I kind of thought you were going to say that.
Which everybody everywhere, when you're getting used to driving different roads and us being on the other side of the road and everything, you have to get used to it. So I think what you went into like, I've just passed my test hyper mode, even though you passed your test maybe 35, 40 years ago.
Oh, 15.
And you then became like the model driver.
Oh, did I?
Well, you know.
Did I?
Slowing down and taking the roundabouts and am I in the right lane? That never usually bothers you. But now 10 weeks on, just straight, bombing along, normal. Yeah. The only thing that you don't do, there's a lot of tailgating.
Yeah, people do that here, generally.
Yes. Yeah. The road can be, completely clear, and then if somebody joins the flow of traffic, they'll be right up your back. Yeah. And they're wanting to overtake you, even if it's safe or not safe to do so.
It is a worry.
And they'll just be off, whether they can see if it's clear or not.
Well, that's what it seems like.
That's what it feels like to us.
It feels like, yeah.
So that you haven't gone that far.
I don't think I could do that. They do get very close. It does seem to be a mindset. I mean, obviously, I'm not complaining because in the UK there's
the dreadful drivers in the UK.
Drivers in the UK have their own mindset about what they want to do or where they want to be. But the mindset here in Portugal does generally seem to be for drivers that they want to be in front of you. They can't be behind, because as soon as that opportunity to, no matter how fast you're going, but no matter how soon that opportunity arises, they overtake you and they're away. And and it does seem to be that. And we've seen it many times where people have overtook and then turned right. Or turned left.
So pulled in and stopped.
Or just pulled in, even that we did.
30 seconds down the road.
Yeah, so there was no need for the overtaking. It just does seem as though...
Yeah, or on a blind bend or...
Yeah, which is sometimes I do... I said to Elaine a week or so ago, I said, right, I'm not going to talk about Portuguese drivers anymore. And I said, I'm not complaining about Portuguese drivers, but it's just a bit of a shock when you're out there on the road and you watch them, and I worry about them because I think, goodness me... But I said to Elaine, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. And we try not to, don't we? But as soon as somebody's behind us and they're kind of right up behind us and then they overtake us, then we have to talk about it. We can't not. But anyway, we've put that to bed now because we've talked about it on video, haven't we?
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I don't do. That's the only thing I don't do.
You definitely don't do that.
I couldn't do that, no. But but it's interesting that you say... that I've kind of settled into that, because I genuinely feel that as well. I always felt, but you always felt that I was driving in the ditch.
Yes, I was always in the ditch.
Yeah.
Or in the middle of the road when we were driving our UK car and you were on the other side.
Yeah.
I would either be sort of right in the oncoming traffic or right in the ditch.
Yeah.
But now you found the middle of the road and
I
you've
have.
worked it through, and it's much better.
It's amazing how that's happened. Somebody did say to me, "You'll get used to it."
Yeah. So 10 weeks isn't too bad, really, is
and
it?
I kind of think I have got used to it. Yeah, well, because when I now park the car and there's the curb, and I actually come in and park the car, I actually know that I'm not going to hit that curb. Mm-hmm. So something must have happened that's worked.
Yeah.
Something just maybe just clicks. I don't know.
And you've got used to the roads as well.
Got used to the roads. Yeah, definitely. And and there are some nice roads around here, in all honesty.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people complain about the roads. There's one or two where you think, oh, but now we know where they are. It's like, oh, there's that big pothole on that road just there. So just sort of, get yourself in the right position. But generally, I think the roads are in pretty decent condition.
They are really nice, yeah. And there does seem to be quite a few of them as well. That seems to be a thing. There's a lot of roads that lead to a place, which is really, really nice. So we've started to learn a little bit about the area from that respect, haven't we? We took a different turning, and it's got us to the same destination, but we've discovered other things along the way, which is actually really nice. So just to kind of find where things are, it's always a good thing to kind of know where things are.
Just gives you that confidence, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. But it's nice to know that I've kind of settled into driving, I suppose, to a certain extent, yeah. But talking about potholes, the one that I still haven't managed to negotiate correctly is the one that goes up to our land.
Oh, right.
Up to the land, sorry. There's a big one, which I can, no matter how I try and negotiate it, I'm always in it, aren't I?
Well, I think because it's a...
Because it's big.
Off-road lane, isn't it?
Off-roading. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how do you feel after 10 weeks then?
Me?
Because that's all about me.
It is.
Oh.
It's all about Darren.
It is. Okay.
That's all right.
So how do you feel then?
I do know. I think the thing that is different for me, I suppose, when you make a move like we have and you run away from home and leave your children behind, then you sort of worry about them, but you know that you've done your best to bring them up, so they'll always attempt to make the right decision. And I think the thing that has pleased me most is how much I don't have to worry about them.
Yeah.
So they're all getting on with their lives. They're all making good decisions. Perhaps they just haven't told us about any bad decisions they've made. But they've had one or two situations to deal with. There was a leak in the kitchen that needed fixing, and my son attempted to fix it. It sort of worked, but then perhaps it didn't. He's not a plumber. He doesn't know anything about plumbing.
We gave it a good
But then
go.
they got a plumber in. And they explained exactly what it was. They had everything ready for when the plumber arrived. Like the cupboard under the sink was all empty and done. And then it was sorted.
Yeah.
And all done. And, they're just getting on with life. And when we talk to them, it's always positive.
Yeah, it was always like, how are you? We're fine.
We're fine. Yeah, we miss you, but we're fine.
Yeah.
And we're getting on with things. We're just going to work. We're doing our own thing. We're finding ways to live without your mum and dad.
Well, it's
Which
life
is
skills.
good,
Yeah,
because it's
skills.
the life skills that we've given them.
Yeah.
So I suppose for me, that's helped me transition to this life a lot. I think the thing that struck me was one of our patrons said, yes, Elaine, but it's a whole new way of parenting. You've always been there 24/7 and now you're not. You have to do it remotely. So now I'm a remote worker. So yeah, I can put that on my skills list.
Well, they know exactly where we are, obviously.
They do, yes,
and we can help. But honestly, they are just getting on with it.
Yeah.
I know you said you don't have to worry about them, or you don't have to worry about them. But obviously, you still do, because I do.
Well, yes.
We worry about them,
Well,
but
their mum and dad.
Yeah, of course. So that's going to be natural, isn't it? So we always think about them every day. It's one of those things, and just hope that they're managing with what they're doing, and they do seem to be managing with what they're doing. We get the odd message now and again,
How do you do this?
Yeah.
Where's that?
Yeah. Which
but
can often quite involve a very long message back, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, how do I explain how to do that? But they're honestly they're getting on with it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel comfortable about being here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think you've said that before.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm just going to say I'm not sure if you said that on camera before. I'm sure you have. But yeah, it does, doesn't it? And it kind of gives you that little bit of confidence. And I don't know if we've mentioned, because Jade was over, a week or so ago, a week ago?
Yeah, she was
Jade
here.
was here, and she was happy that we are happy, and that we're not living. She was happy to see where we're living.
How we're living.
And how we're living. I think she had I think she had an idea that we were living in
squalor.
In squalor. Yeah. So that was really good for her as well, wasn't it?
Oh,
to have that
absolutely,
confidence that her parents aren't living in.
No, just that we were happy with where we are, and we've had a lovely, friendly reception, and just like life goes on, and it goes on well.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, Jade was very happy for that, wasn't she? I think, and that was really nice to see. It was lovely to see her, obviously. Mm-hmm. Lovely. Yeah. So what else do you think?
Me.
Yeah.
Try not to think. No. I think that's it.
Yeah, our little chat.
Yeah, we don't want to waffle on too long.
We don't, no. But as always, it is lovely just to have a chat with you guys, just to kind of say hi. Yeah. I was going to say at the beginning of this video, actually, I was going to say that our usual video will be out on Saturday. Yes. Yeah, because obviously these videos are just, as I'm sure most of you know, these videos, especially if you're here till the end, you'll definitely know that these videos are very limited from an editing perspective. They're just us having a chat with you. But our standard video, which does have quite a bit of editing quite often, that obviously comes out on Saturday. So that's our regular video on the Saturday. Well, this is regular now.
It is,
PiPsCast number 7. Yeah. So, bring it to an end.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. If your coffee's gone cold, mine has too. So we've talked too long. Sorry for that. But thank you for being there. Thank you for all your lovely comments.
Yeah.
Please keep liking our videos. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, please. And
they are subscribed.
Yeah.
They will be. Of course they will.
And we will see you next time. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.